Thanks for joining us for Generations Unite, our weekly discussion about increasing everyday spirituality from the perspective of different generations. We hope our conversations and meditations will help increase forgiveness, spiritual healing, prosperity, and living a life of freedom and self-expression. Now it's time for Generations Unite.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Generations Unite. We're on Facebook Live. Hopefully, you're listening to us. Hey, Megan, how are you? Would you mind going to the KCTK radio page and then sharing it?
I will, although I feel like I hear an echo in my voice right now. I don't know if you're hearing it.
I don't hear it. I think you sound great.
Okay, cool.
I'm starting a watch party, and hopefully you will too. Now, Megan, you are a what they call. There we go. What they call you a? Are you a YouTube influencer or what? How would you categorize yourself?
I have called myself a micro influencer before, but I don't really use that word, I guess, only because it's such a niche community. Mm-hmm. And the sounds really weird, actually. Every time I talk, I can't hear you, which is like fine, but it's like the music cuts out and everything.
I'm sorry. Is there something on Zoom I can do to fix that?
Well, let me try this.
Now I can't hear you at all.
Can you hear me now? Now I can't hear you at all. I'm really sorry. I'm going to just join the link again.
Can you hear me now? Oh, she left me. Anyway, folks, this is kind of the fun Zoom thing that we do. We did this when we did a podcast on Saturday or Sunday. We all went out, and then we all came back in, and life was good. So thanks for your patience. You can give us a call at 913-735-0060. Hopefully you're watching us on Facebook. This is our chance, Megan and I's chance to get together and talk about some generational issues that we notice. There always seems to be such conflict, especially up in the media, when it comes to millennials that Megan is, or Gen X's like myself, or baby boomers, which are a little bit older than me. And we find these issues and we talk through them, but we find that we agree on most things because we try to find a way to unite. Welcome back, Megan.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, I'm just going to have to deal with the weird sound thing. But I can, at least you can hear me.
Yeah, well, we won't have music the whole time, so I was explaining to everyone that we talk about generational things.
Yeah, pretty much. And I'd say that there seems to be a lot of generational, I guess. Sorry, this is so weird. I can't even hear myself talk because it's distracting me. Sorry.
That's okay. What were you going to say?
It just seems like a lot of generational differences these days that where a lot of people just aren't seeing eye to eye.
Well, we talk about those things, and first let's figure out what's going on with you. I know you had some big news today.
Yeah, I got approved to move into this new apartment. I'm moving in with my partner, and yeah, I'm excited to have a porch.
In a parking spot, right?
In a parking spot. Yes, it's a gated parking lot, which is amazing. And I like the way it's all decorated too. And I don't know, I showed you some of the pictures. Let me know if this makes sense. But I feel like so many places, they're renovated to look modern. They look so trendy seeming and almost overly modern.
Yeah.
I think I like the way that mine was decorated on the inside. It looked kind of
homey
and homey. Because there's almost tan-ish walls where it's not just bright white walls. I don't know.
Now, where you are right now, you're on your couch with your backdrop. Mm-hmm. This is basically the Megan Lavota background
Yes.
that people see on YouTube and soon HBO Max. Do you have a place that you're going to be doing the same type setup, or will you go fresh with a background for your YouTube videos?
So I think I'm almost done with this tapestry. We might put this in our room or in the guest room. But I'm probably going to keep this couch because the way that the couch will be is going to be right across from where the porch is, and so there's like this big door to where there'd be a lot of natural lights to where that would be a good place for it. Jess has a lot of like artwork. She has prints of like Salvador Dali paintings and stuff, and she has a lot of stuff to where we're probably gonna try and hang some things on the walls. And I don't know what my backdrop will be, but I already told her like that I know this is where I'm gonna be sitting for my videos, and so I want to make sure that it looks good in the background.
And we said this last time that this pandemic has made everyone work from home, but you've worked from home. You work a job, and then your main focus of working on videos and helping people identify themselves is always from home. So you're getting a new office as well.
Yes, and that's something I'm so excited about, is because I've been sitting here, like not only do I film my videos here, but I'll sit here like cross-legged, and I have this laptop stand now, so that this used to like be sitting on a bunch of books every time I did videos. Now I have a stand so that I can like kind of type and do stuff on here all the time.
Well, I wish I could tell you something has changed with it. Well, I guess I'm working here the same. I guess I'm the same thing. I work right behind me, and then I work doing this right here.
Did you do your job for work down there too?
I have something new behind me, and that's a KCTK sign. So the backdrop's important, folks. Those of you just listening to audio are going to go, "What is he talking about?" But that's okay. So we have a couple news stories that we want to get to and kind of get some advice on your thought. I'll start, if you don't mind.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so I had one. Yeah, doesn't that sound like it's really breaking news?
Yes.
So younger generation skeptical over peers' COVID-19 response. Let's see what they have to say. We're going to listen to this video.
Andrew Price is a 25-year-old physical therapy student whose studies have taken a turn this semester.
A lot of what we do is working hands-on, working with patients, getting to see patients and help them be safe and kind of get pain to go away. So doing all of that and learning all of that online, the only patient contact we've gotten to have is through telehealth visits.
While he's had to adjust to comply with social distancing, many his age see their peers ignoring guidelines. A new survey from Fullscreen, a social content company, found a majority of Gen Z and millennials don't believe their age groups are taking COVID-19 seriously. But 81% said they personally are following CDC guidelines and taking precautions to slow the spread of the virus. It's something Price has made a priority.
The only times that I have left the house are to take care of my fiance and go to the grocery store. I haven't seen friends. I call them on the phone, Zoom chat.
Nearly 2/3 of the Gen Z and millennial generations say they aren't seeing the same level of commitment from others. It's disappointing to 22-year-old Brianna Zelny. She's been quarantining in Greensboro.
It's frustrating to see people just hanging out with their boyfriends and significant others and their friends and not taking it seriously, because that's what boils down to the problem, and that's why this is spreading so much, because people aren't taking things seriously.
Family medicine physician Dr. Carmen Robinson says the younger generations are crucial in flattening the curve.
We found that healthy young adults are not getting as sick as our older patients. But in that same vein, we are still at risk of being asymptomatic carriers. We could be walking around, feeling healthy, looking healthy, not realizing that we are spreading to people who might get very, very sick.
A medical assistant herself, Zelny wishes that would sink in with her peers.
Just because you're young and healthy doesn't mean that the person next to you at the grocery store is.
In Greensboro, Kaylee Peterson, Spectrum News.
I just realized I could have shared that with you, but I have it on a different computer, so sorry about that, Megan.
It's okay.
What this report is saying, all kinds of things that some younger generations are seeing other people not follow it and frustrating them. But I like this statistic at the end of it, and I want to start there and get your thoughts. 75% of Gen Z and millennials in the survey said the crisis has made them rethink their priorities.
That's huge.
What about you? Do you fall in that category?
I'd say so. I feel like I tend to be the sort of person that wants to live intentionally all the time, and maybe not everybody cares about that as much as me, but I think that even someone like me that already is obsessive about wanting to live intentionally has found that it just makes me have like no time for my own bullshit. It makes me feel like things that don't really matter that you're worrying about are just not worth the energy.
Yeah. That's probably a pretty good lesson to walk away from all this, is to have those priorities that some of the little things that you've worried about in your life aren't that big of a deal.
Yeah, and I can really see how for millennials or Gen Z that if you haven't really established your priorities yet, or if you haven't had, like, people say like the quarter life crisis, if you haven't had any sort of existential crisis yet and worried about things like, oh no, what's my purpose, then you probably already are going to now, where like, I don't know if older generations feel the same way, but I think that like if you already like own a home or have gotten married or have kids or other sort of milestones, you might be thinking more of like, hey, well, at least I've done some things in my life. Where like for millennials, if you feel like you haven't done anything that you wanted to get out of life yet, then it's like, oh, well, I better redefine my priorities.
You better redefine your priorities, and it's got to be very frustrating to think now maybe you won't be able to do those things the same way you planned on doing them.
Yeah.
What do you think about this? And I think the news does this because it's, pardon me, it's like clickbait. What do you think about the fight between some millennials are following the rules and some aren't? What do you think of that? Like, you probably saw that in the Ozarks this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
All kinds of people, not just millennials and Gen Zs, but also folks as well. But I feel like they kind of whip this up to cause divide. Now, to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense to be doing that. And, you know, my fear is that we did all this quarantine, and then all of a sudden people are going to be doing things like that, and we're going to be back where we started. So I'm okay a couple weeks still social distancing and doing the things that the health officials asked us to do. But some people are just tired of it. And then the media comes along, and they want me to be mad at those people. And at first I am, but then I think I don't know what's going on in their life. What's your thoughts on that? I mean, when you hear other millennials are doing stuff.
Well, first of all, I want to say I agree that I think it kind of is causing divide in the way they framed that article. But also, it's just strange to me that they said, wasn't it like 2/3 of millennials said that they thought that other people in their peer group weren't taking it seriously? Is that what they said? Nearly
2/3 say they do not see the same level of commitment from others in their generation. So they don't see it, but that doesn't mean they're not doing it.
So to me, like, I heard this quote once before. I think it was in like a podcast by Gretchen Rubin. And she used this anecdote about how the best parents are the ones that read parenting books and worry about if they're being a good parent. And it's sort of this idea that, like, if you're worrying about being a good parent or not, you probably are a good parent. And like the thing, so like I'm thinking of that, and also like with this, it's like if you're so worried about people in your peer group not taking it seriously, and 2/3 of them are worried about it, then doesn't that mean that we are taking it seriously?
Yeah, right.
At least for me, I mean, and I think a lot of this comes down to political divide as well. When you have the president saying, I just saw a headline that said that Trump was saying that wearing a mask was like being politically correct or something.
Yeah, and then his press secretary criticized Joe Biden for wearing a mask in public yesterday.
Yeah, I personally, all the millennials I know are taking it seriously, so I wouldn't say the same of, oh, I'm worried about my generation taking it seriously, but I guess it depends on who you talk to, or like, because I can imagine like Republican millennials not taking it seriously.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it is that divided, but I mean, if you aren't worried about your health because you are healthy and in good condition and you're listening to the president and trust what he says is that it's no big deal, then why would you care, I guess?
Well, I know I'm not going to fall for the trap. I go to the grocery store, I put on a mask because I want to. And
yeah.
I could go through the reasons to do it and everything, but yes, I want to. And if there's other people looking at me like, oh, he's a sheep, he's a scared liberal, I don't care what they think as long as they're nice to me. As long as no one encroaches on me or says anything to me, I'm okay. With that said, if I go to a grocery store and there's people not wearing a mask, it's not my job to make them wear a mask.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to be mad at them or anything. I'm just going to continue my social distancing, and I'm going to keep telling myself not to jump to conclusions on why they're not wearing a mask. You know what I mean? Because I just fall in that trap of being mad at everybody.
Yeah, like, I guess I just think that if our government would have just protected us against this problem or tried to solve the problem, then we wouldn't even be
completely. Yeah.
Because
that's
we're all looking for information.
Well, that's what is so frustrating about it is instead of a leader who tries to give people information, it's a leader who tries to divide. So now I'm worried about going to the grocery store and having people mad at me. You know?
Yeah.
A leader should not be doing that. A leader should be bringing people together as best they can. And what I have said on other podcasts is we don't have leadership. You know, there are governors in it looks this way. The governors in blue states are restricting things, and governors in red states are opening things up. You know why that is? Mm-hmm. They have no clue. There hasn't been leadership on the federal level to give them the information to know what they're doing. So if you want to criticize the governor of Missouri for opening up too soon, you really can't, because you don't have he doesn't know. He's just trying to do what, he's trying to think, well, this is what's best for my state. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I was actually thinking too about what kind of sucks is that if you are in a rural area, chances are you don't have nearly as many people from like LA or New York like traveling to your town.
Right.
So if you're like in a small rural area and you don't know anyone that's gotten sick, you haven't heard anything about it at all, and all you've seen is like the economy crumble in your town.
Yes.
And then that sucks.
Exactly. And then, you hear people in New York, but you're saying, this isn't New York. Why do I have to do the same thing? Well, the reason you have to do the same thing is because we don't have the facts, because the federal government, led by the leader of the federal government, the president, has not provided people with the facts. And if there was more testing up front, is there more testing now, you could say, okay, Buchanan County doesn't have to do the same as Jackson County. Or Alabama doesn't have to do the same as New York.
Yeah, I think I kind of like the idea of it being by city in a way. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it sucks, too, that because, like, Jess works in Kansas but lives in Missouri, and the laws are different in Kansas, and so employers in Kansas are having more relaxed rules, and she's trying to not have to go back to work, but she found out pretty much that not only are the owners pretty much saying no, except, or like, you have to give a legitimate reason, and it'll have to be approved by the owners of the company, the owners who never even go in.
Right.
But they never even said, like, you have to wear a mask, you have to be distant. They didn't give any rules. So, but also she found out that one of the owners, like, went on vacation last weekend. So it's like, why?
Yeah.
Like, and I guess it's like, well, do people I know it's just Johnson County, but like, do they literally just not know? Or like, I don't know. All
It
the
sounds like,
information is so fragmented.
I mean, here's an example for you. I have a friend, you know her, who is a manager at a call center in Independence. They have new people are being trained remotely, and then they're going to come into the call center and work. Okay. I have another friend who trains people at the call center in Lenexa. They're going to train people in the call center, and then they're going to go home and work. So
Oh my God.
the point is, there's no leadership here, and people are going to have to make their best decisions. So your example, I don't think there is a guideline. I think they're just trying to do what's best for their company so it stays afloat.
Yeah.
And I'm just not going to get into this. They're doing something bad because I don't know the situation. But heaven forbid if I'm at the grocery store and someone comes up to me and says, "How dare you wear a mask?" Because that's going to be a problem for them.
Here's
Here's
what I think, though, is that there has been so much new technology that has been created in like the past 20 years or so that our generation, like millennials, are more well-versed in a lot more technologies than older generations. And it's time for people to innovate and not be so resistant to change. Like the same way as like older people are like, why aren't you learning cursive in school? Like I had to do like a group project for school with a couple baby boomers, and I like told them that we should use Google Docs because that way we can all use the same document. And they were like, cool, yeah, sure. And then like they both sent me back like a Microsoft Word document, and then I had to put them all together. It's like, is it really that hard if we all agree that we're doing Google Doc? Like, is it really that hard for you to learn, especially when you're in college?
Did they not want to learn, or did they try to learn and it was too hard for them?
I told them that if they had any questions about how to use Google Docs, to feel free to ask. So I don't know if it was just they forgot or if it was out of habit, but like that's just like a small example to where, so with Jess's company, like in question, they're all able to do their jobs from home because they're all like creating content and just like writing. Everything is on the cloud. I guess like what I really do judge is, well, not only is it my opinion that companies should be being more flexible and incorporating new technology and stuff anytime, but whenever there is like a public health concern in which all you have to do is just open your mind and try and think of a more innovative solution. It's like people are just clinging to what they think. I feel like, so my whole rant on this is that I feel like a lot of businesses, they're trying to babysit you. They like want you in the office so that they can watch you.
They've done it like that forever.
Yeah, and it's like, we're all adults. Like this isn't school. Like, you're paying for someone to give you a result, and if they can't give you the result, then you can fire them. But why do you need to like babysit them?
Right. So
Like,
kind of back to that one, the first thing we talked about, 75% of Gen Z and millennials in the survey said the crisis has made them rethink their priorities. 68% said they're confident they will overcome their personal challenges. Everybody should reimagine and realize that change has been coming fast, but now it's coming faster than ever because of things like this that will happen. The world has changed, you know. Mm-hmm. So you had an article. Were you going to talk about the video,
yes,
one video?
So yeah, I have some quotes from it.
Video, I was going to play a little bit of it.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Tell us who Teal is.
So Teal Swan is a spiritual leader. She shares a lot of insight and self-help stuff on her YouTube channel. She's a speaker, author, and her whole thing is really about helping people to heal themselves and like live authentically, and she kind of just gives her take on certain subjects.
I didn't have the article. I guess I don't have the video. So she wrote an article, and I watched the video as well, the accompanying it, called "What's Wrong with Millennials." It was really fascinating, Megan, because it really went through the criticism of millennials and then why she thinks, with really good reasoning and facts, why millennials do what they do. Mm-hmm. So what do you have there?
So I have just a couple quotes that I pulled that might be interesting. Is here's one. Many of the shadows that belong to millennials are the result of this feeling of being duped. The generation before millennials genuinely expected the world to improve with time, and as a result, the millennials were sold an illusion of what would lead to a good life. They distrust authority because of this now. Many millennials feel as though they were set up for failure. They were indoctrinated with ideas about how to succeed in a system that was in and of itself fundamentally flawed, a game rigged against them by the very generation who was supposed to guide them into further success. And because of this, where previous generations saw the things that their parents did that were wrong, most of them saw their parents as doing good enough to enable them to succeed in life at the very least. The millennial generation, on the other hand, feels totally set up for failure by their parents. This is a big difference between feeling like your parents did things wrong and feeling like your parents and or the generation before you set you up to fail and prevented you from success.
I can relate, being an older guy, that that feeling of being set up to fail. Mm-hmm. I can only say, as a father, though, you can only teach your kids from your own experience and what you've seen. So when I told my kids do good in school and get a college degree, I guess I only went that way because I saw it work. I don't know. It's really someone for the future that you don't know of, as opposed to the past that you are aware of.
Yes. And I think that is part of it, is that it's not really the older generation's fault for literally sharing hey, if you do good in school, then you're going to get a good job, saying things like that.
Right.
But
well,
I think
what I think is not by saying that and teaching our kids that, is by being selfish and not ensuring that our society follows through on those things. Meaning, yeah, folks, I'll get political here. Meaning tax cuts for the rich, continually cuts to schools, that continually cuts to where college costs more and more. Things like that. I mean, continually allowing big corporations to continually voting for people that allow big corporations to continue to make big money and send jobs overseas. You know what I mean? Because I got a tax cut or something special out of it. You know what I'm saying, Megan?
Yeah.
We didn't. We just assumed it would go on, and then we could selfishly get what we wanted to get at the time without making a little bit of sacrifice to ensure that prosperity continued.
Oh, okay. So do you think you think that older generations could have done more to pave the road more in the future?
Yeah. I mean, and I was in the state legislature. I've seen 20 years of cut to schools. And so the property taxes go up. That affects your home and how much you have to pay there. And it affects how much your savings is for your kids' college. I mean, it affects everything, just so you can have, at the end of one paycheck, $2 more or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And then the way it was always sold was as poor people simply weren't doing their part, and they don't deserve this. So you should get yours. You're working hard, so you shouldn't have to pay for them. Well, in truth, what you're doing is paying for a society that allows more people to prosper.
Yeah. So a couple things I want to share, and then I want to ask you something. Is
Okay.
one thing I really related to is it said,
Rant.
"Oh no, it's fine." One thing I really related to is it said millennials are struggling to try to stay in a society that they were meant to replace. They have one foot in and one foot out. That is like exactly how I feel. Did that make sense?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And or go ahead.
You're supposed to replace it. Meanwhile, baby boomers are still in the workforce, and many of their positions are that you're supposed to replace are gone and never will.
Yes. Yes. And then this part, it says that we're so exhausted and suffering the burnout of feeling lied to and taken advantage of and having so fully committed to a pipe dream only to figure out that it was a pipe dream too late. A pipe dream that they're still expected to be committed to despite the fact that it's never going to pan out.
Right. You're bitching because you didn't succeed at the thing that was never there in the first place.
Yeah, so like one thing I want to say on that is that I feel like a lot of companies these days, it literally seems like they want you to keep staying, like to stay working at the entry level position for as long as possible.
Right.
And like they like will pay you not enough, and then they think that you're supposed to just keep going above and beyond in hopes of getting like a promotion. Like, and okay, I guess like I want to ask you, do you know what they mean by pipe dream, or like do you still believe in that, or what do you think?
No, the pipe dream is you work hard, you go to college, you're going to have a secure future.
Yeah.
Dream.
Do you
And
think,
that's not the case anymore.
yeah.
Mostly because jobs are different. Before this pandemic, there were lots of jobs, but they were completely different, and we did nothing to make sure that those frontline people made enough money to live. So wages were bad for everybody, and then not only were they different, but the baby boomers never retired to get out of the way so you could have those type of jobs. So the pipe dream, just didn't happen.
Do you think that most baby boomers are upset with millennials because they think that we are like resisting success by like not buying into the pipe dream or something?
Yes.
What about Gen X? Where do you think that they fall on that?
No, I think they probably feel the same way. They did this. Why can't that happen? But I know it's different, and that's what baby boomers should realize: is that things are different now than back then. We had a different regulations, we had different industries, different technologies, and things have changed a lot. And so the same method to the dream, the same process to get there is just gone because it's a different type of world. It's a different world.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess like I'm glad that you see that, and I do think that not all Gen X people see it, but like for me, like the self-help industry is booming. Like personality is getting more popular. One of the reasons why I'm more inspired to want to put myself out there is because not only do I watch a lot of the self-help content and I think, hey, I could have said that in a better way, or like, hey, I have something to add to that. Like there's that sort of feeling of like, oh, like I know that I have something to add there. But then also like with my degree in emerging media, like journalism, I find that it's like so many people are like moving to digital communication, and I feel like skilled in that area as well, to where like for me to put myself out there and like start a business and like make a podcast and hope that I can make some money through that, like I feel like older generations think that I'm being naive and that that's a pipe dream, whenever I think that for them to say just work your way up in your marketing company until you're recognized, I think that seems like a pipe dream. And like I think that in this world, now I am being practical and reasonable.
Hmm. I agree with you. I know that I've told you this, and this is my generation telling you, older guy. It does take time,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't get frustrated. You kind of have to put in the work a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting your master's degree, putting your time in with an employer. I really, for some reason, I don't really believe that's a generational thing. I think that's an inexperience thing. Because when I was 25, I wanted to have it all now too. But now I look back and I know that the putting in the daily work, the grind of it, made me better at what I did. And living through that frustration made me appreciate what I have now more. So, does that make sense?
Yeah, and hopefully, like, after this virus is, I guess, over, or however that happens, if something good is on the other end, millennials will be a completely changed sort of generation, because we're going to have to go through that together. Like,
well, it seems like a lot of millennials are doing what you're doing, which is you're working a job, you're putting in the basics, the grind of a job, of a 9-to-5 job, and you're exploring your passion and what you want to do all at the same time. The problem is that doesn't make you a lot of money up front, and it makes you tired. But to me, you can't give up. I mean, this article and what's her name? Teal says giving up on the pipe dream. I'm still convinced that working hard and developing your skills will get you to where you want to go.
Yes. I think the difference is it's like working hard for what?
Yes.
I think that a lot of people are realizing that working hard in this direction might not get me where I want to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that a lot of millennials feel like sorry, what?
It's hard to tell at the time because you may have a car payment, you may have a rent to pay, and you're doing a job that's not getting you to where you want to go, but maybe it will. It's hard to tell during the time.
Yeah. I do also relate to the part in the article where she was talking about how millennials might feel like super distrustful of authority, or feeling like the person is exploiting you. And that hamster wheel where you feel like you're just grinding your gears and then for nothing. I at least want to feel like I'm headed somewhere. I don't care if I work hard.
Yeah. It's almost like my generation, the ones before me, were also in the hamster wheel, but we didn't know it. You guys are the thinking, aware hamsters.
Yes. Yeah. Because, do you think that Gen X was also just as duped, but they just never knew her?
No, because things for me were more like that pipe dream. Meaning, you guys are still dealing with the generation not before you, but the one before you's definition of what to do, because they're such a dominant generation. And that's why we see all these newspapers. That's why we have this podcast. That's what's going on. That's why we're talking about generations all the time, because the dominance that has been the 50-year plus dominance of the baby boomers is now being challenged by a new dominance of a new generation, the millennials. My generation was small enough, Gen X, that we kind of went along with what the rules of the dominant generation did. It didn't work out exactly the same way for us, but things hadn't changed as much. But now, I mean, just this stupid thing has changed the world,
Yeah.
And that's within your lifetime.
Yeah.
So,
do you think that in like 20 years or so, like when the baby boomers are dying more and Gen X is like the old people generation, do you think that Gen X is going to cling on to a lot of the same rules?
we're going to try. I think that's what's going on right now. I think a lot of people are still trying to cling on to the old ways. And it's really a lot of cognitive dissidence going on. Now, I had, maybe you taught me this, maybe think about generations. and this is a strange way this came up, but I read a story yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
There's a TV show called Batwoman.
Mm-hmm.
You familiar with it?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so it's on CW, and they have Supergirl and The Flash, and you know I like all those shows. So Batwoman is about Batman's cousin. The character's a lesbian. The actress is a lesbian.
Mm-hmm.
She, kicks butt and wears a bat. Okay? So the news story was that this 30-year-old actress, she's around 30 years old, has announced that she doesn't want to do another season of it.
Mm.
And then you dig deeper, it's because she's told people it's too hard to be the lead of a show like this.
Mm.
So here's where the generation comes in with me. The first old guy generation goes, well, she should learn how to work hard. Working hard is good. You should work hard if you want to succeed. But then I think about, your generation and the challenges, and why should that woman work hard because she's on TV, because role, and if it's not for her quality of life, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think baby boomers also care a lot more about like validation.
Mm-hmm.
They might think that they don't, but they think like, oh, if I have this awesome job, then I will be validated and worthy. If I'm on TV, I'll be validated and worthy. And I think that millennials are trying to find that worthiness in themselves and not define ourselves by our productivity. And what the sad thing is that a lot of baby boomers will die before they ever reach whatever they were like trying to get.
And have a sad life chasing that. And so Ruby Rose, the actress we're talking about, said to herself, I don't need that validation just because I'm a lead. I don't want to do this. It's not good for my quality of life. And the article comes out with, can you believe she's quitting? She's the lead actress, of clutching their pearls. So I thought that was a generational thing. Would you agree with me?
Yeah. I mean, now that I think about it, I feel like millennials would just be like, well, I guess she didn't want to do it anymore then.
Right. Right. Okay, so we did that. Let's have a little more fun here, okay? Let's do if people are jerks. Let's do
okay.
Am I a jerk?
Cool.
You're a jerk. You're a jerk.
Okay, this is where we go to
You're a jerk.
Reddit.
You're a jerk.
And it's called
You're a jerk.
Am I the Ass?
You're a jerk.
But where we do jerk, because I found this cool song.
You're a jerk.
Do you have one?
You're a jerk.
I'm looking for one right now. Do you have one already?
Start with mine, okay? So we're going to decide together, two different generations.
Mm-hmm.
Person's a jerk. Yeah, because we know. Okay. Am I a jerk if I leave for an internship while my sister needs support as a new mom? I'm a 21-year-old student. My sister's 33. We have no family around. Parents have both passed. I moved out of state for college. Then she moved here. Last year, she decided to have a baby alone. She went through a clinic that consulted heavily before moving forward because she would be a single mom without a support network. She complained to me a lot about it, basically saying they didn't have any confidence in her. The counselor didn't have faith in her. Honestly, it sounded like they were just warning her that single parenting is hard. Last July, I got an internship for the summer at my dream company that's still happening despite COVID. Shortly after she went through with her plans, she gave birth 6 weeks ago, premature, but the baby's healthy. She needed a lot of help. I stayed with her for first week and a half, and then I was going over twice a day, running errands, taking them to the appointments. Now it's all gone down, but it still asks for daily help to take the day off to be with him so she can sleep, or go to the store with her at midnight because she needs diapers and doesn't want to take him out. I'm running errands for her 5 to 6 times a week, and that's not saying no, hardly ever much. Meanwhile, I'm a full-time student working. I've cut down hours to work to help. I've been reminding her that I'm leaving for an internship, that she should hire someone. She's brushed it off because the baby is still sleeping better, or she can find a teenager to look for easy money. It goes on. Honestly, I would probably be more sympathetic if she had a partner that didn't go out and she got pregnant accidentally, but she chose to be a single parent. I supported her, but I'm crushed at the thought of canceling my internship, my last chance at it, before I graduate. Yeah, it really would help me for a future shot at the career I've always wanted. Am I a jerk?
No. Not at all.
Situation, isn't it?
Yeah. That
So-
really sucks. Also, she's 21, they said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, what do you think about someone making such a drastic decision and then wanting everyone to support them in that?
I don't think that's okay.
Yeah.
I think that you can't just expect other people to want to stop everything to help.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's pretty inconsiderate. But I also feel like for a lot of people like that, they might be like looking for a reason to live or like a life meaning, and they don't understand when other people have like pursuits of some sort.
Right.
They'd rather you drop them to help.
So we're in agreement.
Yeah.
You're actually a hero for helping as much as you did, but she's got to go pursue her dreams.
Yeah.
I'm not saying forget her sister or be selfish about it, but
Yeah.
take care of herself too.
Yeah. It just makes me sad that someone that helped that much would even think that they were a jerk.
Yeah. It's kind of sad, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? She's going to go off to internship, hopefully do well, still feel bad about it. You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I need to step away real quick. So, entertain the folks.
Okay. I'm not that great at being entertaining like this on my own. If anyone is watching this live, feel free to say hello, leave a comment. Let's see if I can just read some tweets about millennials until he comes back.
Are you still talking?
No, I was about to talk, but are you done?
That's why we're mad that Madeline's not here.
Oh, yeah.
Of her zany characters.
Yeah, I was going to read millennial tweets, but then it took too long to load, and now you're back.
Okay, you have one of those Am I a Jerk questions.
Yes, I do. Okay. Sorry, were you saying something?
Excellent. Go.
Okay. So, am I a jerk for using my girlfriend's high school poetry to write an amazing song? Hey guys, I just learned about this subreddit from my girlfriend, and I was hoping for some input because she won't talk to me right now. I really hope she sees this and understands that she's being really dramatic right now. Okay, not a great way to start it. My girlfriend is an incredible poet. She's been writing since she was in elementary school. She won contests and awards. I'm a musician, so this works out perfect. I can write good melodies and sing well, but I'm stuck with words. My girlfriend helped me write a couple songs last summer, and my followers loved them. I played them live, too. So we moved in together in March, which seems a little soon, I know, but once the current situation hit, we said, fuck it, and she moved in with me because her parents are assholes. Like Reddit/raised by narcissist status.
Oh, nice. We'll have to read that.
Yeah. Anyway, as I was helping her unpack her stuff at my place, I noticed a really old shoebox.
Let me ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
You're not moving in with someone because your parents are assholes, are you?
No.
Okay, good. Just checking.
I love my parents, and
That's
I want to swim in the pool soon. Anyway, as I was helping her unpack her stuff at my place, I noticed a really old shoebox. As I started to open it, my girlfriend freaked out and snatched the box from me. I laughed, asking what was so special about it because she was acting like she just saw a ghost. She got super defensive and told me it was really bad poetry I wrote in middle school about high school. I'm only holding on to it for sentimental value, but I don't want anyone to see it. I tried to convince her to let me read it, but it just made her more mad, so I dropped it. I couldn't stop being curious, though. It was like that shoebox started to taunt me. I eventually waited until she read it, and it just made her more mad, so I dropped it. I couldn't stop being curious, though. It was like the shoebox... Wait. Sorry. There was 2 screenshots, so I jumped up again. The shoebox started to taunt him. I eventually waited until she went to work from home on her laptop in the spare bedroom to finally go through all the notebooks. Some of it was really cringe, yeah, but some of it was seriously just as good as her current writing. So, all throughout last week, I started working on a new song based on her old poetry. The song turned out awesome. So I posted the SoundCloud link to all my social media accounts and my fans adored it. I showed her the good reception it was getting so she could see how incredible of a teen poet she was, and she flipped the fuck out on me. She threatened to take me to court for plagiarism if I didn't take it down right away, which I did, but now she's telling me to take down the other 2 songs that she helped write too, because she can't even look at him right now. All I did was show her how talented she's always been, and now she's messaging all of her friends looking for a couch to crash on. I really love this girl. I don't want her to leave. I've apologized, but she says that I'm so full of it. Hopefully some honest internet feedback will help her understand that this isn't worth losing a good thing, right?
Okay, do I get to say my opinion now?
Yeah.
Dude, you fucked up. Here's what she did. She told you not to mess with him. You badgered her about it. She still said no, and you did it anyway. That was the worst.
Mm-hmm.
She probably would be just as mad if she saw you reading them without his permission as you did write a song without her permission. Because you had the discussion, she told you how she felt, and you ignored how she felt.
Yeah.
And that is not make a very good boyfriend. That's a terrible boyfriend to do that. Now you could have said, may I read it? When you started writing the song, you should have said, I did something that you're gonna be mad about. I read your thing. I think they're really beautiful. I think they're great. I'd love to write a song about it. She probably been mad at you there because you already broke the rules, but you did it twice almost. And then you tried to have other people back you up. That it being good had nothing to do with it. So guess what my opinion is? You're an asshole. Oh, you're a jerk.
So let me share with you the very end parts. He has these different edits.
Yeah.
So he goes, edit. I think you guys are being way too harsh in the comments. You should really hear the song before judging. I'll upload it again and link it when I get a chance. Right now my PC's busted. My mobile data is too shitty.
Is it there? Is there a link in there?
No, it's not. And then it says edit number 2. The mods messaged me and told me I couldn't post the link. All respect. And then edit 3. Apparently my girlfriend saw this post and left a comment of her own. Her friends are going to be here in an hour. I keep telling her I'm sorry, but she's basically pretending I'm a ghost now.
Wow. So he just still doesn't get it. He doesn't get what he did wrong at all.
No, and I love how, I just have to say, this is sort of a toxic masculinity thing in addition to him just being a plain asshole. The way that he's like, all I did was show her that she's talented.
Right.
Like, you need him. But yeah, he's a jerk. And another thing I have to say is, I don't know if it's just that men don't write in journals. I know some do, and that's kind of just a generalization, but there was one night where Jess and I showed each other our old poetry and our old journals.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, this is why lesbian relationships are the best. She's like, have you ever read your journal like this with a guy you're dating? I was like, no, I haven't. So
no one's ever read my journal. They're sitting on a bookshelf back there.
Do you keep them hidden?
Read it when I'm dead. You have full permission to write a song about it.
Okay. Oh, I should write songs about Grandma's old journals that Loretta gave me.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I opened it and I accidentally got like her talking about like missing Grandpa and like not liking her current husband.
Oh, wow.
And so I opened it and I was like, I feel this is too invasive. I can't read this right now.
No, this too. The girlfriend in the experience, lighten up. It's not the end of the world. Maybe she can say to herself, this guy, I can't trust him. I don't want to be his girlfriend anymore. I get that, but just because people heard words that are in a song on SoundCloud, it's not. she shouldn't be terribly upset by it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I understand why she's upset, and not want to be with the guy anymore. But it's just calm down. Don't. This isn't the end of the world. This isn't the end of the world. I
probably would want to break up with the person instantly as well, but only because of the selfish attitude and the disregarding of the emotions and the not trusting. But also, I would have just showed the poetry. Like, I don't have anything to hide.
Right. Well, that's Am I a Jerk? And I'm glad that we both agreed on those.
Yeah.
One other segment here that I had that is, okay, I'm trying to think of the perfect music for it, because we have to, you have to have the perfect music for things, or it doesn't work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is comments made in the year 1957.
Wow.
I'll tell you one thing, if things keep going the way they are, it's going to be impossible to buy a week's grocery for $20.
Wow.
I'm afraid to send my kids to the movie anymore. Ever since they let Clark Gable get by with saying damn in Gone with the Wind, it seems like every new movie has either a hell or a damn in it. Have you seen the new cars coming out next year? It won't be long before $5,000 to buy a new one.
Wow.
Did you hear that the post office is thinking about charging a dime just to send a letter? The drive-in restaurant is convenient in nice weather, but I seriously doubt they will ever catch on. There's no sense to go to Lincoln or Omaha anymore for a weeknight. It nearly costs $15 a night to stay in a hotel.
Wow.
If they think I want to pay 50 cents for a haircut, forget it. And this one, I'll end with this one, okay? Because you're laughing so much at these. Kids today are impossible. Those ducktail haircuts made it impossible to stay groomed. Next thing you know, boys will be wearing their hair as long as the girls. And that's comments made in the year 1957.
I have another thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, the point of this is the parents of the baby boomers complaining about their generation.
True.
It never ends, folks. It never ends.
It never ends.
So, what else you got?
So I have one other article. It's from adage.com, and it says, millennials killed these products, but now COVID-19 is bringing them back.
Okay, great. I can't hear.
I wanted to just list the comments for you and ask you if you are using these products.
Ooh, good question. Yeah, okay.
Right now.
How many you got?
I think 5. Oh my gosh, now I have this spinning wheel. Okay. Number 1.
Oh, okay, we're doing number 1.
Napkins.
Yeah, I use napkins.
These all-purpose paper towels have been the meal accompaniment of choice for younger generations now, recent studies have shown. But with more consumers now cooking at home, they're trying to bring an extra level of fancy to the dinner table, and napkins are trending upward. I bet napkins are just trending upward because it's hard to find paper products.
You know what? I think they're talking about cloth napkins particularly. And I think I have a problem. I don't like cloth. I like paper.
Yeah.
I like paper towels and paper napkins, and maybe too many of them, as you've noticed before.
Yeah, I like paper towels, and I probably use too many as well.
Yeah.
2. American cheese.
Ooh.
So, American cheese has been on a hot streak for several weeks. Unlike the more rare kinds of cheese, people are buying more comfort foods such as grilled cheese, macaroni and cheese. Uncertain times make customers turn to brands that they trust.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been eating American cheese?
Yes. American cheese is just you can go to it. It's just more, I don't know. If you have like Swiss, it doesn't go with everything. American cheese can go with anything quick, easy, cheap too. Cheaper.
Yes, it is cheaper. I prefer cheddar if I was going to just go with something.
Cheddar doesn't melt as good though.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Okay. Golf. Golf was never a sport of choice for younger generations. It's at odds with millennial values and preferences because the rules are overly complicated. But now golf is on an upswing. The no-contact sport is one of the few mostly open for business during lockdowns.
Did you know there was a big golfing thing this weekend? Did you hear about this?
Mm-mm.
So it was Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, and they played with Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. I forget.
Mm-hmm.
And they mic'd him up as they went, and it was all for charity. So every hole they would bet money, or they would say, the winner of this hole gets this much for charity. And it was so much fun because you could really hear them play. You could hear them talk back and forth. And they didn't have to worry too much about social distancing because, it's a golf course.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like finally you get to watch some sports. So, maybe things like that outside in a bigger area will become more and more the thing.
Did you hear about how there was like a boxing fight on some island? It was like it was either boxing or MMA. I don't really know the difference, but some sort of fight where there was no crowd and there was just a TV crew.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I wonder how that went.
Apparently it was like kind of creepy not hearing a crowd, but So, okay, cereal.
4.
Okay, millennials and others weren't spending much on breakfast at home before the pandemic, and cereal was hit very hard. Younger generations have gravitated more toward avocado toast and spinach smoothies. But now with kids more at home and in need of an easy meal, cereal is on the rise. Cereal sales rose 35% for the week ended in April 25th compared to a year earlier. So...
And when we were a kid, it was sugar pops, sugar smacks, sugar flakes. It was never anything. It was like sugar and heavy milk. It was the worst thing you could give a kid. No wonder we're all fat.
And all of them say on the box that it's like has the nutrients for a healthy breakfast, and it doesn't. I can't believe all the cereal I would have as a kid.
Like your generation, they tried to make it like not sugar smacks, but honey smacks.
Yeah. I also would have Reese's Puffs, though.
Reese's Puffs, but they didn't call them chocolate sugar. But that's exactly what it was. And we ate it as a kid, and we fed it to you. So,
yeah. How dare you?
Sorry.
There's one more.
Okay.
Beer. Beer has been taking a backseat to trendier beverages, including hard cider and spiked seltzer, but now it is back. Many consumers are ordering alcohol to be delivered. Online beer sales were up more than 100%. People are wanting to make fewer trips to the grocery store. Shoppers are buying in bulk, which means more cases of Budweiser and Coors are enjoying a renaissance.
All Memorial Day weekend,
Mm-hmm.
I drank beer. And I'm a vodka drinker.
But you typically, would you say you're drinking beer more often than you normally?
I never drank beer before. I just didn't drink beer. I wouldn't drink. But it's like,
I've seen you.
Here's the party I'm having. I'm outside here having a beer. I typically never did, like when you came over Saturday, sit there at 2 o'clock and stay till 10, sitting in the same chair on the deck drinking. I typically haven't done that for a long time.
I've been drinking a lot more beer in general. And I don't know if it's because I can't go out, but it's just a way to like make it seem more fun. I had like a Bloody Mary this morning, and it was like, why?
Tuesday?
Huh?
On a Tuesday morning?
Yeah.
Didn't you have to work?
Yeah,
Megan.
maybe that's bad, but
Shame.
I feel like sometimes when you have writer's block, just having like one beer or Bloody Mary can like make you stop overthinking.
Follow.
Well, okay. I'll just say that I feel like I never bought beer, and I only would get it if I was like out or like at a concert or doing something. But now it's like just there. I'm not like getting super drunk, but I don't know.
Megan Louise.
Is that bad?
Yeah, it's bad to have an alcoholic drink in your work day. I've never done that. Believe it or not.
Okay. You're being an old man.
I'm wagging the finger, folks. Wagging the finger of the old man. Telling that youngster what to do and what not to do.
Good luck. That's all I got.
No, I mean, as far as alcohol, it's not that big a deal, but as long as you feel like you don't have to have it. Because when you feel like you have to have it, that's called a problem.
Yeah.
You have to have it?
No.
Okay, good. All right. All right, that's our fun time. We'll try to be back next time. 2 weeks, maybe?
Yeah, let's do 2 weeks.
If not, we'll be back when we feel like it. Okay, folks?
We're busy with a lot of stuff. We have a lot of places to go.
Yeah. Do you want anyone to know more about you as we wrap this up? Your Twitter or...
You can find me on Instagram or Twitter at Megan, M-E-G-H-A-N, Levota, L-E-V-O-T-A, if you want to connect.
And I don't say this enough. Check out KCTK Radio. It's
Check it out.
at KCTK Radio on Twitter. If you want to know about the different programs we have announced, check out that Twitter feed. Or if you want me to make comments to trolls that follow Trump, you'll enjoy both of those at KCTK Radio. Yeah.
All right.
So thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll see you next time. Thank you, Megan. I love you.
Thanks for uniting with us.
Yeah. All right. Love you.
All right. Love you. Bye.
Generations Unite has been a KCTK production, produced by Megan Levota and Paul Levota. All rights reserved. For more information and content, email us at kctkradio@gmail.com.